Welcome to a busted play. An illegal use of hands to the face short. Out of the five first round quarterbacks, there are two that we know that are going to start week one in Trevor Lawrence and Zach Wilson. The other three, Mac Jones, Trey Lance, and Justin Fields. Rank those guys in order in like the time period that they're going to start.
So I have to say that if the Patriots are winning games with the talent that's returning from like COVID non-participation guys, and then what they added draft and free agency, think the Patriots are going to be winning games for a while. So it's going to be hard to get Newton off the field unless there's injuries. Jimmy Garoppolo also will win games while he's in. So I'll just say this first off: if injury occurs, I can't guess that. I can't say that. But let's say it's a perfect world and nobody gets hurt. Nobody gets hurt. There's chances that neither Garoppolo nor Newton comes off the field at all this year. So that's pretty interesting. So I think immediately that means that Justin Fields will be on the field at some point this year. That's almost guaranteed because I don't feel like Andy Dalton is ever going to play well enough to like make it be like, oh, we can't take him off the field. And the other thing is, I do think he'll eventually play like weak enough where it's like, hey, if we scored more points this week, we would have won that game. Like we lose a game like 14-10 or something. I feel like Bears fans are going to be like pretty upset about it. And I could see that happening fairly early in the season. So by far, I would say my favorite is Justin Fields to start within a decent amount of time. As for the other two, it's really how soon they want to move on. The other weird thing here is that they've got coaches that, and like I said, they could be winning too. Both the guys come with these two quarterbacks that are sitting in front of other guys, come with like some injury concerns, at least in recent years. They've both got 2 years left on their deals, being this year and the following year. And I really don't know. I'm sorry. I'm pretty sure Newton's is 2 years. I'm pretty sure that was the extension he got this offseason. But it's really hard to say for sure. If I had to pick one that would get pulled first, just in terms of play, I would say Newton. Do I think it's likely? No. So what I'd say is that Fields is by far the first. Then Jones is second, but even then, that could be a year or two down the road. And even though I have to order them, so I'm putting Trey Lance at number 3, I mean, I could see a world where it's almost like the exact same time frame for Lance and Jones to step on the field, both of them at the same time. And do you agree or disagree?
Yeah, I agree. I think Justin Fields could see him thrown into the starting role week 2 if the Bears are just like, geez, Andy Dalton sucks.
He could win the job straight up.
Oh yeah, definitely. So there's that. Within the first 2 weeks, Justin Fields could touch the field, and I would absolutely love that because he's going to make the Bears actually fun to watch. Andy Dalton won't do that. When it comes between Mac Jones and Trey Lance, though, the same thing with you. Just I think that the Niners are in line to win more games if they don't interrupt Jimmy Garoppolo while he's like, uh, as the starter. Because in a perfect world, like you said, with no injuries, it's going to be hard for either of those guys to get yanked out of their spot. Because I don't see either team playing particularly bad. Uh, but if one guy had to get yanked before the other, it'd probably be Cam, just because Mac Jones is more of like a Belichick quarterback. When I say that, I just mean Tom Brady. So I don't know. Depends on how much Belichick wants to rely on that safety blanket that he's always had for 20 years and he's just recently lost. Just go to what's comfortable for him. But both Cam and Jimmy G are great at what they do. It's going to be hard if they're winning games and not hurt to yank them from their spot and put them in. So with me ranking them, be Justin Fields Mac Jones and then Trey Lance.
Yeah, the weirdest part of this is that I actually think Mac Jones, like, if they ran through this 17 game schedule this upcoming season with Cam Newton and ran it through with Mac Jones, I think Mac Jones would increase their win total by at least like 2 games maybe. That's without looking at their opponents, but really I just think it makes them much more diverse team. They never seemed to really have much trouble running the ball when Brady was the quarterback, and Cam brings an element to the run game that's nice, but realistically, the pass game, I still feel like you can't get rid of where I talked about Mac Jones being like the best precision passer out of all the guys that we saw, and I really believe that. Cam Newton, for his running ability, you add that at the cost of just having some throws that just go straight into the dirt. Like, he's got to hit this hitch route 8 yards down the field, and he just puts it like not even at the receiver's feet, like a foot in front of the receiver in the dirt, and it's just like, well, that's kind of gonna make it tougher to be successful in the NFL. So from that perspective, not only is it like, if you want to talk about the upgrades in terms of actually getting the quarterback in the game, it's Justin Fields is the biggest upgrade from Andy Dalton. Then Mac Jones is a slightly less of an upgrade from Cam Newton, just because Cam has that running element, but I think Mac Jones is a better quarterback. And then Trey Lance to Jimmy Garoppolo, I think probably for the time being, it's actually a downgrade to go to Trey Lance. Over the longer period of time, you could see that Trey Lance, in a few years down the road, Trey Lance becomes better than Jimmy Garoppolo. But I think for the time being, it's that I would stick with Jimmy Garoppolo there. And I think that's kind of one of the points that we made before with those two guys. And I think that's really the only reason we're favoring Mac over Trey Lance, is that the other quarterback is slightly worse. Not either of them, but yeah.
Yeah. And this just popped into my mind too. In his time with the 49ers, Jimmy G has never been pulled because he's been playing bad, and they want to get Nick Mullins out there just because it's like, we just need to do anything to win here. That happened a lot last season with Cam. Granted, the Patriots roster as a whole wasn't very good, and they've done their due diligence of making it better. But just looking at what's happened in the past, Cam has gotten pulled because he has played bad, and they've went with a guy that in Jarrett Stidham that is substantially, and Brian Hoyer, that are substantially worse than what Cam is, just because they're like, we just need anything different.
Yeah.
That's never happened with Jimmy G. They've never put in a guy that is significantly worse than him just to see what will happen.
The one thing I'm not suspecting here, the one thing that I maybe should mention here is that I don't see coming out of camp Nagy giving Fields the nod, Shanahan giving Lance the nod, but I do see a world, because of how Belichick operates, where he does say, actually, Mac Jones was the better quarterback in all our offseason stuff. And if he is, he could come out of the gate as the starter even. The thing is if he doesn't come out of the gate as the starter, I think it's hard to pull Newton.
Yeah. Especially, not that Belichick has ever had a problem, burning some bridges with players, but with your quarterback, it's kind of hard to do that. Just say to Cam, hey, we're giving you this extension. We want you to be here for the next 2 years. We want you to be our quarterback. And then you probably clue him in that you're getting a quarterback. And then after training camp ends, you make him the starter, putting your confidence in him. And then week 8 comes around and it's just, nope. Nope.
We're done.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be tough. All right. You all set?
Yeah, I think we can cut it here.